Okay, folks, we're out in the ocean here. It's a rough day. Pretty rough day. We got like 3-foot seas at least. Choppy. Pretty rough. We were going towards it before, into it, and it's splashing and throwing us around a little bit. Not that bad. I mean, the boat's handling it fine, but it's just, people, when they're running, there's something over there I saw come to the surface. But now we're going back with the waves, and much smoother, completely manageable. Well, at least so far, so good. We're hitting about six miles per hour going into the waves, the rough waves. And I don't know, like everybody says on camera, you can't really see how rough it is, but she's pretty rough. But now we're going with the waves. They're pushing us. So what's the speed, honey? Speed. Checking the speed here. Huh? What? Okay, yeah, we're going about 7 miles per hour without me really giving it much. I'm about half throttle on the 30 horsepower. We're 7 point something now. It's a little harder to steer when the waves are pushing you around some. We're going about 7 now when I got up to about 3/4 throttle. Right there. Yeah, right there. We hit 7 in the rough. So if it was a smooth day, we could kick that motor up to about 3/4. Right now, that one's 15 horsepower is running at 3,600 RPM. I don't know what this one's running, but I'm guessing in the same range, about half back speed there. We got the water still hitting here, but we got our little blue foam shields. They're blocking most of it, but not all of it. So still getting a little bit inside. I've got like this raincoat here. I need to clip it when it's rough like this. We need to clip the sides because the water tries to come up under the sides when the waves hit. Get my hat down. About 4-ish, 4:30-ish. Sun's going down. The big ships can handle it, but no little boats are out. Actually, I saw 2 little boats out, 2 fishing boats out, but that's about it. So right now, we're not really splashing anything in. Before, we were splashing a lot. I mean, I'm wet, which any boat would be if they're heading into the waves on a day like this. Any fiberglass boat would be. You know, I watch all the YouTube fishing channels. Those guys come back soaking wet in their center consoles. But if you design your hull right on those fiberglass boats, it shoots the spray way out on the side. It doesn't come over the side. But you know, every boat manufacturer, you probably test their boats in calm seas and go, "Wow, that's so cool! It goes so smooth, and water doesn't flow nowhere." Just get water up. Our splash guards are doing really good. They're keeping all the center water out. It comes up between the splash guard and the side of the hull. It will. See, like right there. A little bit. Then it just runs out the back. So there's an opening. There's a gap that I made for the water to flush out. So it just flushes right through here. Speed? Huh? 6.3. Okay, we're on 6.3 miles per hour. Just cruising along here smooth. So my hope to go 10 miles per hour in calm seas, I think, well, I may get 8. I may get 8 miles. Huh? Okay, 6.7. But keep in mind now, we still got 15 more horsepower under the hood there. Right there in the center, we got a 15 horsepower pump boat engine that's all hooked up, but we got to do some welding on the propeller shaft so we can put grease fittings on there and grease the propeller shaft when it's in the water, because I don't want to have to disassemble this boat and take it out just to grease the propeller shaft. So we're doing good right now. We went around the lighthouse point there and back. They got nice houses here all along the beach here. There's a couple of resorts here too. I don't know which one, what is what, but anyway, nice homes along the coastline on that point. We got all the big boats out here. They're all parked. They ain't going nowhere. When I open her up, how fast, Johnny? How fast? 7.2 right now with this engine wide open. The thing is, because we got two engines, and if they're not going the same speed, the faster one turns the boat. You know, just by sheer speed, just by sheer more power on the left side makes the boat turn right. So that's how that goes. Now we're going to have more centralized power, like I said, once we get that 15 inboard running, and we'll run him at half throttle too. He only can go 3,600 RPM, so we'll keep him at about 1,800 RPM, just as a little bonus push. And it's center thrust too, so it's not going to be pushing us in any direction. So I may have to teach my wife how to steer that one there. We got that one, the steering locked down hard, so it's fixed to pretty much go. I think I got it going the opposite direction. I think I got it turned wrong, but I need to slightly angle it so that it counters its own thrust. But yeah, I mean right now. Right now it looks nice. It wasn't that nice going the opposite way though, and we're in the kind of the shadow of that point there. That's kind of helping us a little bit, and we're riding the waves. We're doing a little bit of surfing here. So the engines are running what I would say is good. After I did all the tuning on them, got the air fuel mixture right, got everything kind of tuned up, got new spark plugs in the new engine, kind of cleaned the old one some. Another way to get this boat to turn is either throttle back or throttle up on this side, depending on which way you want to turn. So you can throttle steer some with this engine too. You need to slow it down some. So now we're going to go straight. So yeah, I don't have to push on this arm. This steering's a little bit tight because I don't want this engine to be getting thrown around while I'm driving. Wave hits us from the side or something. So again, if I want to turn right, I give this one a little more throttle. If I want to turn left, I just back it off some and it'll naturally steer for it. Pretty cool, huh? Because before I'm pushing this thing, it makes your wrist hurt. If you're pushing and fighting waves and stuff, because like I said, these waves right now, we're going with them. We're kind of surfing them. Trying to catch one and surfing, but the waves are going a little faster than me. They're going under. But yeah, we're doing okay. I filled up the tanks with gas, and I'm using the Stabil fuel stabilizer, and leaning this one out some. It should run 100 to 1, but during break-in you do 50 to 1 oil to fuel ratio. That one always runs 50 to 1. So we are just cruising along here. Nice. My wife was going, let's turn around on the way there, but on the way back she's calm, relaxed, everything's fine and dandy. So you can see just which direction you're going, whether you're going into the sea, into the current, and all that, or you're going against it. But however, we don't seem to be able to get that much additional speed going against or with the current. We seem to be doing within a half a mile per hour either way. So I don't know. I would think with the current we'd be flying along No, there's two guys right there. Those are the two boats. I don't know if you can see them, but there are two boats there. They may be running like a hook, like a trot line between them, trying to go through schools of tuna, the bonita. Honey, do you see where we're heading? Is that the blue house up there? Honey, is that the blue house? Yeah, we got a little ways to go. What's the speed, honey? Speed. Yeah. The interesting thing is when you're going with the waves, it feels like you're going about half the speed that you're going because the illusion is, over the ground. If you're in a car, motorcycle, bike, walking on foot, the ground stays still under you, but this ground's moving with you. So it kind of, right now, to me, if I was to guess, I'd say we're going 3 to 4 miles per hour, but we're still going 6.5. And a little more than half throttle, I would guess. So, we're doing fine. That, like I said, that was running half. I don't have the tachometers out of this one. I meant to take them out and hang them on here so I can see what the speed is. I need to put them on my arm here. I need to make a little Velcro thing to Velcro them to the throttle arm, the killer handle. But even when it was rough, the only issue was splashing. That was it. Also, whenever you go down a big wave, when the front of the boat goes down a big wave, the back end, like it's on a teeter totter. If you're from America, you know what those are. It's a playground kind of a thing. Kids have. One kid gets on one end, one gets on the other, and then the center's on some kind of a pipe raised up about 2 feet, and they kind of go back and forth. Well, that's what happens to the boat. And when the front end goes down, it lifts the rear out, and you get some cavitation off and on. Now, going with the current is no big deal. I mean, going with the waves is no big deal. But I don't know why. It's not. It hasn't cavitated once since we're going with it. And I'll probably drop these engines down 1 more inch or 2 more inches, which I can. I've got the adjustment right there. It's up 3 inches above the back of the stainless steel plate. So I've got that all set up to adjust down if I need to. Simple. I may have to drill a couple holes, or I may not. I've got pre-drilled holes. You can see all those holes in there. Those are pre-drilled holes for adjustment. So if I need to adjust, I can just drill them out. And again, I got to take the boat out of the water to get the welding done. But I wanted to get the engines going good. I want to take it out in some kind of conditions where, it would kind of give me a clue as to how it's going to handle stuff. And of course, we had to get the splash guards on because we were water was just flying everywhere beforehand in a sea like this. But we were actually crossing a wake, and so now it just comes in and slides down. It'll splash up on us, something like there, slightly. But our little blue things are helping a lot. They're not perfect. I can still see some water coming in, and we'll see when we get back here how much water we took on. But we don't plan to go out in weather like this. It's just too rough. So for anybody, even in a fiberglass boat, you'd be slamming, because when they go and they jump those waves and they hit the bottom, it's like you're slamming on concrete. I had a 27-foot wellcraft, 264 coastal in the U.S. and in the Pacific Ocean. In seas like this, you'd be lucky to go 12 miles an hour, maybe 14, without beating yourself to death going against the waves. So anyway, we're headed back into the port, our home parking, and we go ahead and shut her down for now because I got to start using my hands. I got to get out of here and start prepping the boat to anchor. So anyway, glad you guys got to come back and come and see the speed test in the rough. Now, we didn't do a speed test in the smooth, but we'll see. Maybe the next day or two we'll get some smoothness out. But this is choppy, 2 to 3 foot waves, especially when you're out in that point there. Because when you get past that point, you're in open ocean. When you're here, where we are right here, we are in protected like a cove. Okay, honey, you can take that vice grip off. Take the vice grip off. Take the vice grip off. Take the vice grip off. Off. Now turn it off. Turn the handle to slow. Slow. Okay. That's okay. Okay. Hey, get out of gear. Take it out of gear on the side. Push that back to the center. Okay. There we go. Okay, folks. So we're ready to cruise on in here on one engine. Give it the gas. Lift up the front end with just the 30 horsepower alone. Yeah, so we got 45 horsepower going, but we're only using half of it. We're using about 8 on that one, maybe 10, and about 15 on this one. So about 28 horsepower, not even the full thing of this combined if you want to total it like that. Okay, so there's the catamaran over there. We're coming into over the reef right here. There's a reef down here. When I say reef, it's like there's some rocks and not much, just a little bit. So we are cruising in here. I'll check the plugs on this thing too and make sure that we didn't foul any plugs, that kind of stuff. Make sure we're still working good with the air-fuel ratio. I also put the tarpaulin here all the way up to my left. See right here? So that the water wouldn't, come in on top of me all the time. But yeah, we got a good inch of water in the bottom of this thing, so yeah, we're definitely taking on water. Okay, well I'm going to shut her off. We'll be back with more from my Paradise on Italian Island. I've got bilge pumps too with float valves, so I might hook up something here to help pump all this out. But I got 3 hulls, so I need 3 bilge pumps. So anyway, and we can cover one of the holes completely and keep that one dry. No, we can't, because the water will hit the side, go up and over underneath the tarpaulin and down in. But it's a minimal amount. And we're at high tide here, so we're going to I have to jump out and walk this boat in pretty soon. So Paradise out. All right, people. We're back from the speed test in super rough conditions that we would never choose to go out in. Okay. And right now we're in the protection of this bay here now, so you can see the waves and the stuff are small, but the wind's pretty good, and you get out there kind of outside where that point is, and that's where you hit the open ocean, and that's where you get waves. So this is how much water we got in the boat, about 1 inch. But I mean, again, we wouldn't go in the ocean normally in weather like this. We also got a little friend somehow got thrown in the boat in the ocean. See? That little crab in there is a little crab. It's actually the biggest crab we've got. We've got crabs in the boat before. In fact, one was on my neck earlier when I was in the water. And I thought, well, there's a bug on my neck. And I thought, no, I'm in the ocean. There are no bugs. And so I didn't, bother to swat it. I just thought it was, something tickling my skin. And then after a while, it kept moving around. And it's like, wait a minute, something is on my neck. And I, kind of brushed it off. Again, it's behind my neck, behind my head. And a small little crab flew out. So, yeah, these crabs will climb on you just like a spider or
or any kind of a bug. So, and they'll get in your boat somehow. Somehow it got in the boat. I don't know in the splashing or what. If he was swimming at the top of the waves and he got thrown in. But anyway, we looked down and he was there running around inside the boat. So we scooped him up. We're gonna set him free so you can witness. He's not legal size, so we're not going to keep him. You know, in the U.S. they have regulations, crabs and stuff. So, but in the Philippines, I could actually eat this guy. Uh, he's about as, I don't know, he's tiny. So anyway, here he goes. Watch him. He's gonna go. Free, Mr. Crab. Go, 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 Mr. Crab. There he goes. There he goes. Heading under the boat. Okay. Well, anyway, he's gone. So we're gonna get the rest of the water out. So we got this much water in the boat here, roughly an inch, inch and a half. This is like a 2x4 here, so that's an inch and a half roughly, and it's about level with that. So we just scoop it and dump it like that. There's a tissue. Don't throw it back down there, honey.
We don't throw that.
Don't throw it. No. Just put it, squeeze it out, and set it up here. And when it dries, we can use it again. We recycle things. Also, we did the pump of the hose that was not connected to here that we left for 1 day. It was on the 15 horsepower, and we disconnected the. Hope the wind's not blowing. The fuel line with the bulb, and we put it in a green plastic bucket right there, and before we connected it up to the engine, we took the hose off of the little plug that goes into the front of the motor, and I squeezed the bulb, and that brown ugly crap came out of that other hose. Now that's an older hose, and I don't know how old it is, but every time we leave fuel in the hose, which we do every time we use it, so far from what we've seen, it comes out brown like that. Now this hose we have here is actually the hose off of the 8 horsepower there. And when we squeezed it after setting all night, see, it turned out green. I don't know if you guys, where's the light at? There's the sun over there. Can you see? Can you see through it? Anyway, it's greenish, a little foggy, but green. And this brown, you can see the distinct difference between these two. So brown has got water in it, or maybe the rubber inside of that hose is making it brown. I have no idea, but I don't want that going through my carb. And that's better gas there. So we do that every time now. We pull the hose off of where the connector goes to the engine, and before we prime it into here and see what gas comes out in it, and we let it go until it starts flushing clean green gas, and then we put the connector back on and tighten the hose clamp down. So that way it keeps the engine from getting all gummed up. And I mean, just like today, we went out there and the waves were so rough and bad. I would have hated for the engine to have died and been in those rough seas, because then you got to work on an engine while you're being tossed all over the place. So better to just take a minute and 2 minutes, 3, 5 in the worst case, and check your fuel. Pump it into one of these. And again, we take this gas and give it to McCoy, one of the boat builders, and he uses it to start fires, because again they cook on wood a lot here, because gas, if you buy the gas, it's like 1,000 pesos for a tank of propane gas. So they just get some wood from the trees and build a fire, camp out like thing. So anyway, just want to show you that crab, really. But this is basically boat cleanup at the end of the day. We hook all the anchors back up, get them set, pull on them as hard as we can, make sure they don't slide or drag. It's called dragging an anchor. And so if they don't, then we're good to go. Set the front and back, get the water out of the hull, disconnect the fuel lines, screw down this little vent hole here, this little vent, the brass looking bronze looking, it should be bronze, little screw there, tighten that down because that lets the air in, but you have to unscrew it to let air in for fuel to come out eventually, or you'll make a vacuum and your engine will die. But then you screw that back for nighttime or when you're not driving the boat. And that's about it. We roll up our hoses and put in our little green bucket that kind of protects them. Lindy did wear her life jacket part of the way, and I got to put the cover on that. I put the cover on that one now. I got to put the cover on this one, and then roll these guys back out and clip them with our little carabiners under here. We put the bamboo thing, see that round bamboo thing there? That, so when the tide goes down so low, the boat's sitting on the ground. It's not sitting on the ground, it's sitting on that, and there's a little room so it's not dragging and scratching rocks and scratching the paint off the bottom of the boat or the epoxy. So yeah, so we got these guys here clipped on, one on each side so that they stay in place. Other than that, here's our anchor. The bridle, we take it loose here, we just leave this other part of the bridle connected to the boat. It's connected right here. You can see on this cleat, that's a super strong cleat. That's through a 2x4s of mahogany. Same up here, mahogany 2x4s under there. Here's our rope connection and a rope going out to the anchor. We got rocks and we got mud. When I say rocks, we got flat rock, like concrete. It's like a patio like rock here. So you've got to find the mud that's not where the rock is and set your anchor in the mud, because anchors don't set in rock. Ain't happening. They just slide. So Lindy's already got the water out of the center hole, out of that hole. And again, this is 1 hour of rough and tumble. Actually about a half an hour really, because that was going into there, into the waves and all that. It was rough. I did video that because it was just kind of rough, and I'm driving the boat, so she has to get the camera and all that stuff. So see, it's all dry now, folks. Dry boat. We got it dry. So we're good to go. How about back here?
Yeah, I need to dry.
A little bit back here in the back under the stairs, right back here. So we should get that out, and then we'll be good to go. Then we can put the covers on. And like I said, I got to go put the cover on that engine there, so I'm going to do that, and we'll be back with more from my Paradise on Italian Island. What you doing there, seasick? She got a little oh my gosh, a little seasickness, but she doesn't feel bad. She just every now and then she'll just have to throw up. So anyway, I got seasick one time. My dad and I went out in a little 12 or 14-foot aluminum boat about 5 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico after the oil rigs to go fishing. And it was, you could smell the ocean. And then we had all of our bait fish, and the bait fish was stinky. And it was a hot day, hot, humid day. And then you're rocking on the waves. And man, I got seasick. And then my dad said, well, as soon as you start to catch at your fish, your seasickness will go away. And sure enough, we hooked into a bunch of kingfish. And I was fighting them. I hooked into a tarpon. It was jumping. It was behind a shrimp boat. Shrimp boat went by, and the tarpon grabbed it. And you can see this thing jumping. But I had a small little Garcia Mitchell reel that's good for bass or crappie fishing, and it snapped my line. I couldn't hold it, but we did get the kingfish in, and we got some sharks too. I think about 4 sharks and about 6 kingfish, 5 or 6 kingfish, 4, 5, 6 kingfish. So, and some red snappers too, out by the oil rigs in Corpus Christi, Texas, off of Padre Island actually. So anyway, we will be back with more. Draining the boat, buttoning her up. So we'll be back with more from my Paradise on the Italian Island. Paradise